Hello. If you hear weird noises at the back, it's my dogs who are being mm, dogs. So they snore, they fart, they're basically almost human. Oh, oops, dogs. Okay, so for those who don't know me, I am Ms. Botero with makeup still on because I had a performance live on internet tonight, even though I am a little bit ill, so my makeup is starting to run, but here I am. So for the little story, I'm starting my 39th year of burlesque. I started at the very young age of 12, but shh, don't say it, because I was a go-go dancer. Those big boys are the best ticket or the best key to get into show business or into discotheques and clubs and things like that, because that's what I started with, go-go dancing in clubs. Then I gradually went from not being paid because I didn't know I could make money with that to being paid because some professional go-go dancer took a hold of me and said, "Bitch, I'm gonna beat your ass if you don't get money because you're breaking and ruining business for us by moving your ass and shaking those big boys for free." So I heard her and I got on stage and started being paid. Oh, and by the way, the price some professionals are paid today. Oh God, that dog just drank and comes to wipe her dirty mouth, dripping and like every va ta place, din din. She always comes to wipe her mouth on me. So I started at almost the same price some of the professionals today are paid, which was 100 between 100 no 700 francs, which is a little bit over 100 euros. Let me get that thing right. It's the first time I'm using a selfie thing, a selfie perch or whatever you call it. Had it for ages, never used it. So that's for the little story. And then officially I started in 1986. That was my first paycheck at the Festival de Cannes, which is that movie festival in Cannes every April in France. We did the end party and the end of the party show. It was a big girl show. It was funny but very humiliating, but it was very good money and it was a huge success. So after that we got signed by a first agent which was a gangster sort of, and then we had another agent the year after who was my agent. I was signed with as an exclusivity attraction for 15 years. This agent still exists till this day and does different things, but still some attractions. A lot of street performers, circasian performers, circus performers, etc., etc. So that's for the little story. Well, not so little. 39 years is not a little story. It's a long story, shortly said. I'm also a disabled performer. I've been disabled all my life without knowing it. I knew it a few years ago when I got abused in a festival in the south of France, which I am not allowed to say the name of actually. And if you want to know, you just PM me and I'll tell you about it. I have worked internationally, and I am probably one of the most well informed, not the only one, huh? Please, I am not saying that. One of the most educated about the burlesque history in Europe, and how it got to debut begin in the US versus Europe. To make that story short too, burlesque is as old as humanity and as humans' ability to laugh and make fun of one another and of life situation. We are able today to make fun of the situation we are in, which is quite dramatic. But we didn't lose our sense of fun and derision and how to make sad things funny. It's funny to the point you can cry about it, which is maybe sounds like a nonsense, but it's how I feel about burlesque. It's a tragico-comedy. It's like commedia dell'arte, which is one of the mothers of today's burlesque. It's like it's as sad as Buster Keaton. It's as sad and funny at the same time as Charlie Chaplin or some other performers who were big artists. Even Josephine Baker had a lot of sadness and nostalgia in the way she was making fun of herself in those days. And I admire her greatly for what she did for our art. What could I say next? That's about the short history of burlesque, which I could go on for hours because I know so much. And still keep learning. I keep learning every day because I keep myself informed, and it's a way of contributing to our community, telling about this, and the same way as I share tricks, stage tricks, as I share what I was taught by transformists in cabarets, in Parisian cabarets in the 80s, late 80s. They showed me makeup, offered me jewelry. I was like, oh, your necklace, it's so beautiful. Took it off and gave it to me. Here, honey, have it. I was just like, oh my God. And till this day, some of these things I still have. Like, when I met Saturn's Angel, she offered me first gift after a few days spent together. She offered me, it was a bauble, one of those little bracelets that look cheap, that are cheap, but look very blingy, especially worn by somebody like Angel on stage. And on me it looks like, oh, fake, duh. But on her it looked almost real, It's that kind of jewelry, that kind of little things, little attentions from my elders that molded me and defined my personality regarding respect to my elders. Today I'm one of those elders, even if I don't look like it. I have those massive glasses. Well, they could be 70s. This haircut that is not a haircut, it's just my bald shaved hair growing back to something, and I'm in confinement, so having fun with the colors as usual. And I'm a little bit crazy sometimes. Well, no, I'm crazy, I think. That's why some people love me, and that's why also some others hate me. But you cannot be loved by everybody. You cannot love everyone. That's just life. It's life, bitches. Okay, we're already 10 minutes. I wanted to say that the Congress, it's really sad that it did not happen. First thing, because Celeste de Maurier invested herself so much. She worked so hard for this Congress that she deserved it to happen. And we had so much to share, so much to work on. I wanted especially to work on, well, a sort of a legacy of this history of burlesque. And I also wanted to share all the tricks, stage tricks, and performing. I don't like the word performing. Artists to do's and not to do. How you're supposed to behave when you are working in a venue, because some seem to ignore it till this day. One example, which is the one that shocks me the most when I work somewhere, backstage. Even if you find backstages dirty, full of trash, papers, old cotton swabs, tissues, more or less clean, it's up to you to leave it cleaner than you found it. And if it's clean, it's exactly the same. Leave it cleaner than you found it. Why? It's about respect. Your respect. If others don't respect you, you respect yourself and you respect others. And it's also a way of being booked again. Because when the owner of a venue tells you, oh, my backstage is cleaner now than I left it to you, well, he'll remember it. And next time he'll book you without worry. So that's one thing of the etiquette of burlesque artists. And there are so many more. On the way you build a contract, on the way you get paid, usually before performing, not after. When I was in the agency I worked for, if I was not paid before, I was ordered not to go on stage. That was the way we did things. Other things, costumes had to be on the point. From a visual aspect for the crowd. You're not working only for the back rows, you're also working for the front rows. And so many other things. I won't disclose everything now. We don't have time. I'm already almost a quarter of an hour of video. So, next year, if we don't have COVID-20, which I really do not hope, even though there's a fair chance, well, chance is not the real word, a fair risk that we face this epidemic multiple years after another, because there were, well, I won't go on that path. So, if you want to speak about COVID, I can tell you lots of things I learned from my sister who's been living in China for over 30 years. Now, want to see my red eyes? I'm always there for everybody. When you ask me something, if I'm not ill, if I'm not, because I'm disabled, I'm saying it again, I have syndrome of Ehlers-Danlos, which is called EDS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome in English, said in French, aggravated by Parkinson, by Crohn, by so many F-word things. I'll answer you. And if you catch my attention, I can even mentor you for free. And if I need money, I'll ask you a little something. I try to keep burlesque cheap, not in the way of cheap as worthless, but in the way of popular, because burlesque is a popular art made by the people, for the people. We shouldn't forget that. It's not an elite art. It became the art of the elite in some countries, and I think this is very sad. People forget where burlesque comes from. That said, I'm going to take all of this plaster off my face, take a good shower, go back to my old self, and drop in my bed for a day or two because I made too many videos tonight. Ciao, ciao. Don't forget, we're all freaks. We're all queens. Be the best of them. Wear your crown up high. And Celeste, this is special for you. My sister, love you.